I've decided that but I don't even know. Am I going to do, I can make this wall be exposed brick, but I'll just make this one for now. All right? So I'm going to go and mesh, extract those faces off. So it's just one object like that. And then I'm going to take this object, and I'm going to make sure the UVs are good. And I'm going to go create planar map. And I want it to be in the Z-axis. And I'm going to go keep image width height. And I'm going to hit project. So I know those UVs are good. UV texture. It looks like this. So now I am going to create a substance texture, which is another way of creating textures that's really fast, okay? Basically, procedural textures, I showed you that solid fractal stuff. Maya always liked to be like, yeah, we just gave you procedurals, and then you do it with procedurals. But what turned out to happen in the real world was people mainly use file textures. They'll use procedurals for some things, but most texture artists will use file textures or they'll paint textures for that specific image. However, I think the name of the company is Alembic, and they have made something called Substance, and Substance has been included along in Maya. There's like let's say there's like 50 to 100 substances in Maya. So we'll go to Hypershade. And like the floor, I started out with a Lambert. I'm going to start off with a Fong E. All substances like to start with Fong E, which is Fong extended. And then I'll convert the Fong E into a MIA Material X, which will be a process. So I have this, and I'm going to go to my Fong E, and you see it says color right here, and I'll hit the tab, and it goes create render node, and if I go down to 2D textures, see there's substance, and I click on it. And then I get this node, which is like a file node. It's got a place 2D, and here's the substance node, but there's nothing there. I've got to load up this substance file. So I go over to substance file, and I go click on the folder, and then it takes me into my source images. And the substances actually live, you know where you install the program on your hard drive? That's where the substances live. So over here, I'm going to go to my computer, the C drive. It says Autodesk up here, but I'm going to ignore that. Go to Program Files, Autodesk, Autodesk Maya 2013. Excuse me. And then I go, oh, hey, here's the folder called Substances. But if I open this folder and use it and then decide it's not the one I want, I'm going to have to keep going back. So I want to make a bookmark for substances. I'm going to go to Substances and put the substances in the folder right there. And then I go to Substances. And here's all the substances that are loaded. Oh, it had its own plywood. I didn't have to get plywood from the net. I could have used their plywood. But I'm happy with the plywood, the teak plywood I got. But here we see, look, there's like also that concrete that I made from a file texture. Didn't have to do that. Could have used a substance. There is pavements. So let's look at a few of these. There's even an eye texture where you can make eyes really fast. Here's Kevlar. This one's called Impact. I don't even know what that is. But look, brick wall number 1, open. And there it is, but it doesn't look very good. The problem is, on the texture, let's see if it's this one. On the shape node, let's see, object display. No. No. Where does this put? Maybe on the shader. Fong E. There we go. On the Fong E shader, there is hardware texturing, and I'll tell it not to be default, but highest. And look at how clean that went in my viewport. So what I see in the viewport is still, right, just a preview. However, by going down to, I went to the Fong, I went to the tab that said hardware texturing, and I used the color node, and I told it to go to the highest. And that's fine. However, the bricks are still a little big. Right? There's just a little bit bigger than I think the brick might be. So I'm going to go over to the substance, and there's substance parameters. It says there's 10 by 30. I'm going to make it 20 by 40. And that's a little tighter, right? It just adjusted the bricks for me. Maybe I try 30 by 50. And that's tight enough. If it gets much smaller than that, they'll seem like little tiles. So maybe 25 by 35. Then there's a mortar. So look, if I do more mortar, it'll adjust it. There's also a depth and various other ones. Here's emboss, right? So if I have more emboss, and then where I can adjust it so that the angle seems right. So those of y'all who are doing video games, right? This might be a way to quickly develop it. And that's what this tool, they make a bunch of tools for this. And they actually have some really cool tools. So let's go quickly. I'll go do a quick review of this company. Maya Substance. And sometimes like I get annoyed with myself and think I'm advertising for these companies or whatever. But like, right, this stuff, all this stuff comes from companies and people, different tools. Substance bonus tools. Here we go. Algorithmic. I think it's algorithmic. Algorithmic substance designer. Here's one called Map Zone, but where are you? I can't find this stupid bitmap to material. And I don't want I want their stuff. See if I can do algorithmic.com, and then I'm just going to go back if this doesn't work. Algorithmic.com. There it is. Home. Sweet. Here we go. This is the there's their stuff. So here's Substance Designer 3.5, which is for like video game makers. But one of the ones that they have in here that's cheaper is Substance Bitmap to Material. And what it does is it'll if you have photos of things, like let's say you take a photo of a bas relief. Like check this out. Here's a screenshot. This is the photograph. This is the photograph on an object for real time. So it'll take some of this information and turn it into a normal map or a bitmap or whatever sort of map you want to make within reason. But how much? This is like $100. How much does it cost? $149. So I mean, if you were a texture artist every day, this is where it's at. Improved light canceling. 15 extra grunge maps that you can throw in here. So it's right, it's just a tool to help make better texture maps. All right. So on this map right here, I could tell it I want to make a diffuse. And it just broke apart. I don't think it worked. Make it nice and big. I'm going to create a shader network. And this broke apart, so I need to save the scene and reopen it after I blow away some preferences. No. I'll close this too. No, no, no. What do I need? And we're running out of data again. My 2013 preferences, user and window preferences, reopen. There's a major problem with substances, though, is that they don't render in mental ray out of the box. You know how you have to convert paint effects so that you can see it? Let's do the set project, my computer Z, students. Set. Scenes. Go back. Graph that. Go to my substance, which is really weird now. So I'm going to break it apart because it's not working. Create 2D substance, brick substance, and it's got to be off the C drive. C, program files, Autodesk, Maya 2013, make a substance as a bookmark, brick wall number 3. I'll make that one 2048 if I can. Go down. I want to make the substance parameters. I like to, what? 25 plus 45. Put this into color. On the Fong, there it goes. It's a little tight. Maybe I make it 20. It's better. Now I'm going to take emboss it a little less. Up here I have diffuse. I think I want specular. It's thinking. Don't crash. There it goes. Now I can choose between normal, bump, and I could also make a displacement. But I'm just like, normals and bumps are similar things. A normal is the modern version of the bump. Original bumps went black and white, up and down. A normal is a red, green, and blue image, a full color image, and then it not only goes up and down, but it points in different vectors. So normal's probably the way to go. Now I got a problem, and now it's thinking it's making that file. Here's the network. Look, I can't see my work area. Pay attention to this. I can't see what's happening. I go up here, I get rid of those by hitting this button. And then here, then I can select this and I can hit F, and now I can see what's kind of happening. And I've got, this is my main substance. And I want to export images to disk at 2048 by 2048. I don't want them as JPEGs. I'm going to make them TIFFs. And I'm going to tell it to create shader network. And then I'm going to put this in the source images of my project in a folder. And I'm going to call this brick sub. I'll select that. And I'll hit export. So now I have this, and this is the material. Now, I'm going to keep this material as a Fong-E, but I could also translate it into, and I took this material, this is the new material that it made, and I assigned it to this wall. Right? So now I can graph it, and then right here, I can't see the files because they're too big. There, if I go over here, and right-click on these tabs, it'll make a quick one. But it's 6:30. This is my specularity. Specularity, right, it could be reflection. So if I went create material, min array materials, MIA material X, passes, I could drive this into the color. I could drive this into the bump, maybe. Tangent space normals. So make this tangent space normals. And then I could take this and drive it into reflectivity. Drive this into glossiness. So I don't think it should be that glossy, but we'll see. And go to camera 1. And I've decided, like, right, I'm just going to render this. Now, that's a major difference. Like doing that substance, that's something different. Let's see what else. I'm just trying to, I'm thinking out loud of what other elements I can show you before I start doing a render. Like really, you could just go through the presets right now and start painting. You should have, we've seen like 2 major introductions. I think getting things all up and textured would be just the way to go. Like this radiator, it's metal. What can we do to it? So I'm going to stop this recording, figure out what I'm going to do next, and then approach it like that.